So the Java code consists of several classes. There's the class that makes up the endpoint. There are message classes, so there's a base message class and then one class per message. And then we have message encoders and message decoders. To start with the endpoint. So this endpoint has an attribute @serverEndpoint, which makes it an endpoint. And this is given a URL /WebSocket/chat, which is the URL of the endpoint. This is the same URL that's used by the client. We also associate a couple of other classes with this, our decoder class and our encoder class. And obviously we'll explain later in this course how those classes are used. So similar to the client, our endpoint has events. So it has an onOpen event, an onClose event, and an onMessage event. And these methods are called when those events happen. So when the socket is opened, when the socket is closed, and when any message is received. And these are marked with the onOpen and onClose attributes. We have a base class message handler, and that has the onMessage attribute, and that's just overridden here. So when the user joins, it sends a join message to the client. That comes in through the onMessage. That message comes in as a JSON string, and that's decoded in the message decoder class. So the job of this class is to take the incoming string and turn it into the appropriate message. To do that, we look at the message type value that comes in the class, and then simply use a mapper to map the incoming JSON into a Java message. We then call a helper method called processMessage, and that processes the join message. In this case, the processMessage creates a new Java user object, saves the name away, adds that user to a collection of users, and then broadcasts this join message, the same message we've just received, to all connected clients. The broadcast function simply iterates over all the clients that are connected and sends out the message. The message, when it's sent, is a Java object, so that message has to be encoded into JSON, and that's the job of the message encoder. The same is true for all the messages we receive. So messages come in, they're decoded and turned into Java. We do some processing, and dependent on the message, we then may send messages to all clients. In this case, we are always sending messages to all connected clients, but you could be specific about where those messages go. Those messages are broadcast, and when they broadcast, they simply turn back into JSON, and that JSON is sent back to the client.